Yo, party people, what is up? SmackDown and Rampage are both over. Hope all y'all enjoyed the show. Your boy right here certainly did. A lot of good stuff that happened on these episodes, guys. Future great matchups, great storytelling, so many great stuff. Both episodes had me feeling totally UCEY. Man, guys, don't worry. Like I said, I hope you like the show, but guess what? Where it's about to go down right here, right now. The review of both shows right here on the newest episode of The Gift of Gabe. From top to bottom, start to finish of both shows. Get ready. The GOG Ramdown episode is about to start right now. Okay, guys, let's get things started with what went down on SmackDown. First off, let's talk about Kofi Kingston going one-on-one against Gunther. Honestly, we knew the prediction and outcome of this match. Gunther was going to win, but it's Kofi, so he delivered a nice, solid match. This match is pretty dope. Even Kofi kicking out of the powerbomb, which is Gunther's, basically his finisher. He debuted a new one, which is basically kind of just like a standing power slam. Basically, it's like Braun Strowman, but he just basically stands in place for it. Honestly, not too much of a special maneuver, but it's Gunther. He usually makes that stuff work. I've seen him literally win matches just with clotheslines. So, with the powerbomb before this and, that power slam, I already forget the name of it. But he usually makes stuff like that work. He's so hard-hitting, like of a big guy and just wrestler, that stuff like that usually works well for him. That wouldn't work so well with others. So, I approve. Like the new finisher, it's all good. He had a great match with Kofi. And once again, throughout the match, they kept dropping hints of the future Strowman versus Gunther feud. That reveals a little bit, much about, his next title defense. More on that later. But, that should be a decent feud. We all know Gunther's probably not dropping this belt for a while. Maybe until, WrestleMania. Or maybe even beyond that. Trying to build up the importance of, the Intercontinental Championship. And what better way to do that than with Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion. If you saw his NXT UK title reign, my God, I don't think he'll hold it for that long. One, because, we're not in the middle of a pandemic and that helped a little bit. But I don't think he'll hold the belt for that long. But I don't think he's losing it anytime soon. So, keep just sitting back for the ride, guys. We still got a long time before he loses that belt. But he's doing good, though. So, give him props to the Ring General, Gunther. Speaking of stuff to give it up for Triple H on another new return. Because Tegan Nox is back. She came on to SmackDown to help Liv Morgan take out Damage Control. And we had heard the rumors, for maybe past couple weeks, over this past month, honestly, that he was trying to bring her back. It's just another one of Triple H's talents that he likes, that he's bringing back into the fold. I did like her. Plus, I would like them to expand on, Michael Cole mentioned it, the, real storied history that she has with Dakota Kai. I would like for them to bring that back up, because, they had, a really good rivalry and, a pretty solid, matches that, you had back in the old NXT days. It looks like they might do Tegan Nox and Liv Morgan as the next challengers for Damage Control's women's tag team titles. But you guys know how I feel about Damage Control at this point. I feel like they should just be disbanded because, they've really just been, kind of down the tubes since they've really shown up, losing feud after feud. And those tag team titles, I really feel like they're barely keeping two of the three women in that stable actually relevant. So I don't think they'll lose those belts, but if they do, then definitely just disband them. But positives, Tegan Nox is back. Good to see her. Little tag team with Liv might be a little fun. We'll see where it goes. So keep checking on it. Getting back to the topic of Gunther, though, and his Intercontinental title, we got the winner of the first ever WWE World Cup, and it is the one, the only, our boy, Ricochet! Give it up for him, you guys. I really thought Braun Strowman had this in the bag, but once Ricochet got the dub last week, I was like, you know what? My dude Ricochet is going to find a way. He's going to win. Him and Escobar tore it down. I had no doubt. This was a first-time match, years in the making. Sam Escobar even talking back to their Lucha Underground days when they were both wearing masks. People say that was a great match, and they say this one was also great in comparison. So give it up for both. They could have gone either way, but it felt like more of a need win and a must win for Ricochet. He literally had not fought for this Intercontinental title since he lost it back to Gunther back in freaking June when he lost it. Thanks, Vince, for just constantly forgetting about him. But Triple H has built him back up, which I do like. He is a bright star hopefully a future world champion. But, you know, it's all got to get back started somewhere. So I like that he pumped him up in this tourney. Great match after great match after great match. And now he gets to go against Gunther. Once again, you know Triple H is going to have him show out against Gunther for the IC title. Even though he's probably not going to win. Because I mentioned earlier in the vid, they keep teasing Gunther versus Braun Strowman. So that kind of gives it away. Hey, but if somehow Triple H wants to surprise all of us and be like, hey, you know what, Ricochet, you're going to win the Intercontinental title. I think that's a decision a majority would be happy with, and it would be a nice shock factor, you know, victory, and I think it would go over decently well, but us, it would just be good for Ricochet, and if it comes down to being an amazing match, you know, who's really the loser in that kind of situation? Both guys would win, and the fans would win for just the match that it's going to be. The match happens in 2 short weeks on SmackDown in Chicago, of all places. So, that's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to it. Mad props for Ricochet. First ever WWE World Cup winner. So, we're just going to forget about what happened, you know, with the first one, you know, with the Shane McMahon. And we get to move on to a nice, fun Intercontinental title rematch. 6 months in the making. The one and only versus the Ring General, 2 weeks away. Don't miss it. Okay, you guys, I can't talk about SmackDown. We're talking about the absolute GOATs of the show in Sami Zayn in the Bloodline. Literally the best part of WWE in the entire company. And our boy, the honorary Sami Uso, Sami Zayn. I loved everything. I loved the segment before the match. I loved the match with Sheamus. I loved the result. It was all perfection after perfection after perfection. I was loving every second of it. And yo, I'm just going to be all out honest here. I love the new double handshake that Zayn's doing with Jimmy and Jay now. It took so long to get here, guys, but it's so beautiful to see them all on the same page. It is so freaking beautiful. I love it, and I know you guys are too. The match with Sheamus was solid, and you know, the one Jey Uso giving Sami the help to get the dub, that teamwork, guys, it's just so beautiful. It's like a brotherhood, and like I said, I freaking love it. It is awesome. Just keep giving me that stuff every single week. But speaking of a week, my God, the Usos are going to have a week ahead of them. They got to go to Raw and defend the Undisputed Tag Titles against Elias and Riddle. And then, after getting jumped by freaking Sheamus tonight, they got to defend the titles next week against Sheamus and McIntyre. Both those matches are going to be great, especially versus Sheamus and McIntyre. When he jumped them and said that they were next, I was like, okay, that'll probably happen in a couple weeks. Nope, they're doing it next week. So, Usos, you got a long week ahead of you. But we all know you're going to end up winning in the end because, you know, Sami's going to have your back. And when Sami got your back, he don't let you down. He don't let you down. So, you're not going to want to miss those tag title matches next week. It's going to be totally great, you guys. So, but just one more time, give it up for the honorary Us, our dog, Sami Uso. Okay, you guys, I think there's been enough talk about SmackDown. It's time to talk about Rampage. Honestly, pretty solid show. Some of y'all probably were maybe sleeping on the card and just overall night, like, to sum up. But it was a pretty solid night. Darby and Cole Carter wasn't too bad. And then, of course, when you see the Acclaimed, it's gonna be dope. We got some great matches coming up for this episode's Wednesday's Dynamite. It's gonna be great. We're finally getting FTR versus the Acclaimed. I thought they might have done that maybe with Winter's Coming. But hey, I don't mind freaking running this back and doing it at freaking Dynamite on Wednesday. And not only that, we're getting Darby coming for the TNT title against the King of Television, Samoa Joe. Oh my God, this is going to be an amazing night, you guys. I cannot wait for Wednesday already. 2 title matches that have show stealer caliber talent literally in the ring. I honestly kind of want to see Samoa Joe stand up and maybe Darby goes for a coffin splash and Joe just says, nope. That is going to be hilarious. And then, guys, to close out Rampage, we have Orange Cassidy defending that All-Atlantic title against, you know who, QT Marshall, leader of the Factory. And, you know, solid main event in a lumberjack match. Didn't expect Kip Sabian to show up, but he did. He's wanted to get another shot at that All-Atlantic title after failing against Pac. I'm honestly down for that. Run that down, Orange Cassidy versus Kip Sabian for the All-Atlantic title. Maybe that's the match that actually ends up happening at Winter is Coming. Because I think, as you saw after the match, I think the House of Black is literally just going through the entire roster, just beating the living crap out of everybody. And, you know, I saw you two guys. I raised my eyebrow for a second when he was like, hey, don't take out Ortiz. I was like, that could be interesting. But then he just went out the ring and kicked him in the face anyway. So it was just a temporary thing. It's nothing to really see about that. The House of Black's is coming for everybody. I think they're honestly trying to kill a little bit of time until after this best of 7 series is over, because I think after that's over, which I think the Elite's going to win, I think they're going to set up the House of Black to feud with them and possibly just take the titles off them. Because if the Elite win, they don't have to hold the belts for like 4 to 6 months. With that to stack the trios division is, you can give it to a whole nother great faction. And plus, it's the Elite. They'll be just fine. They can go after other titles and they'll be just fine in either freaking reign they could have. So I think that's kind of maybe the long-term plan. I could be wrong, but I would love to see the House of Black as trios champions. I know a lot of you guys would too. So try to give us the Elite versus House of Black at Revolution for the trios titles. Please, Papa Khan, not Nick, if MJF decides to watch. Freaking jolly old Saint Nick, sweet Jesus. We're going to hear from him on Wednesday. That should be fun again. But honestly, guys, I like this episode of Rampage. It was totally good. Cannot wait for Dynamite on Wednesday. Just more great stuff going on. You're not going to want to miss it, and you're not going to want to miss what your boy has to say after the show. Okay, guys, before we go, we're done talking about SmackDown. We're done talking about Rampage. But before the show ends, I want to give my take on the huge rumor that really kind of hit the fan today in terms of the Royal Rumble in 2 months. We all have heard the rumors for years of how they want to do Rock versus Roman Reigns. I get it. We know that is going to happen. I agree with the part. Look, I want to see that match. The story is going to literally be top tier stuff, and the promos are going to be hilarious, but so serious. And I can't even tell you how much I'll love that story. I do agree. I said it from the get-go, even before I was doing this YouTube channel, that they really didn't need to do Rock and Reigns for the titles. So I agree with you, say that, but it looks like that is going to be what's going to happen. Now, the rumor is that Rock may show up in San Antonio for the Rumble in the number 30 spot and win. It has been talked about. Nothing is confirmed, but most stuff isn't just talked about these days. When it hits the fan like it is now, usually something comes of it. So it's something to watch out for. I know a lot of you aren't exactly loving that, but if they did that, that probably means they're not splitting up the titles, which is not guaranteed, but I think it's going to happen. But if they're not splitting up the titles, Rock winning the Rumble is kind of the only thing they can really do to set up that match at Mania. I know some of you are like, oh, Reigns entered the Rumble himself, and thanks to the rest of the bloodline, wins it and then chooses his own opponent. I feel like that would go over less freaking better than the Rock actually winning. So I don't think the Rock, but I don't even think the Rock's going to end up having to win the Royal Rumble, because it's like I said before, I can kind of see how this is all laid out. Think about it. Seth is continuously talking about Cody still. It's not like every single week like he was doing before back in early June and late July, but he's still mentioning it hey, dude, go tell Cody, find Cody Rhodes and ask him how it is, blah, 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 this, blah, blah, because I put him on the shelf, blah, 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 towards the freaking pack. All that stuff. So I'm still thinking that the fact that he's still talking about it is that they're going to revisit that feud down the line. So I'm thinking Reigns before then, before the Rumble, drops the WWE title, just says, I don't want to even be dealing with Raw, and they vacate it. Rollins wins a tourney at the Rumble for the vacant title. Cody comes back, wins the Rumble, which is what a lot of you people want, and I'd be down for that too. It's just classic Royal Rumble return winner kind of moment, nostalgia for him. But then he wins, he fights Seth on night 1, and he wins the title, which fulfills, his final prophecy to win the title for his dad, rest in peace, American Dream Dusty Rhodes, and gives him his WWE Championship glory he has wanted for his entire freaking life. But, like I said, to go back to The Rock, I don't think The Rock's going to end up winning the Rumble. I could be wrong, but I think that route with Cody and Seth is the way they're going to go. Now, if I'm wrong and they are just not, the belts are still together by Royal Rumble, then y'all are just going to have to literally deal with the fact that Rock is going to win the Rumble. There are going to be some of you out there that are like, yeah, this is awesome. But I've seen some of their reactions so far. Not all of you are loving it. I understand. But it's just how the plan is. It's not like Rock's going to end up winning anyway, so it's not like we have to worry about that, but I understand where you're coming from. Let's just decompress, see where it goes. There's still plenty of time. Royal Rumble's not for another 2 months. But, like I said, if it happens, let's just sit back and try to enjoy the match, enjoy the amazing story. And if it ends up being for both titles, it will be fine. I don't think it will be, because I think of Cody versus Seth, and I think they're going to end up splitting up the titles before Mania, because you've seen the reports that Triple H wants to split up the belts for both nights, which makes sense. Plus, the draft is right afterwards, so that would make even more sense. But we still got a lot of time, guys. Let's just wait and see what happens. So, try not to freak out too much. Rock could not even show up. If he does, though, I think it'll be a cool moment that, if we just sit and relax for a minute, we'll be able to enjoy that future program. But, still got time, you guys. Let's not worry about it too much right now. But don't worry, time will fly. Royal Rumble season, the road to WrestleMania, it'll be here very, very soon. Okay, you guys, so that's SmackDown, Rampage, and, a little bit of the rumor mill conversation for this episode of The Gift of Gabe. We're going to be coming at you with great stuff next week. Raw with tag titles, SmackDown tag title match, and Dynamite, we got multiple matches for titles, tag titles on that one too, and TNT title. So, it's going to be a stacked title freaking week on all shows across both companies, and you're not going to want to miss any of the shows, any of the matches, and you're not going to miss to hear what your boy, the best gabber of wrestling out there, has to say about those matches and segments and those shows. But until then, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. I hope you had a good week with wrestling like I did watching these shows. But until then, you guys, next week, I will see you later. And do not ever forget, when it comes to talking wrestling, who better to gab with than Gabe right here. All right, you guys, see you next week for Monday Night Raw. Deuces, puces.